Welcome back to the deep dive. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026.
2026.
I want you to just look at that date for a second and let it settle in. We spent so many years speculating about, the future of work or the future of AI warfare. Well, we're not speculating anymore. We are living in it. And looking at the stack of research we have on the desk today, the landscape has shifted so dramatically.
Oh, yeah.
The old playbooks are not just outdated, they're actually dangerous.
It's not really a shift anymore, is it? It's a completely different terrain. We're seeing things today, technologies and threat vectors that were just theoretical 3 or 4 years ago.
To set the stage, I want to start with a number. It's from Cybercrime magazine, and, well, I had to read it 3 times to believe it.
Okay.
They looked at the global cost of cybercrime right now in 2026. If cybercrime were a country, it would be the world's 3rd largest economy.
Putting it right behind the United States and China.
That is it's absolutely terrifying. We're talking about an illicit economy larger than Japan, larger than Germany.
Right.
It's not just hackers and hoodies anymore. This is a global superpower.
And that's the mental switch we really have to flip for this deep dive. We aren't fighting a nuisance. We are fighting a highly efficient, industrialized ecosystem.
Industrialized?
Yeah, it has supply chains, it has R&D departments, and it has profit margins that, frankly, legitimate Fortune 500 companies would kill for.
So our mission today is kind of twofold. First, we're going to look at the 7 cybersecurity trends of 2026. This is based on the work of futurist Bernard Marr, just to understand how this criminal economy got so big. But we're not just going to admire the problem.
No.
We're also going to do a technical breakdown of a solution called Swimage.
Which stands for Specific Endpoint Recovery and OS Rebuild Automation.
Right. It's a piece of tech that claims to solve the operational nightmare that these threats create. But I want to be skeptical here.
Of course.
Because the claims they make rebuilding infected PCs in minutes without a human technician even touching them, that sounds a bit like magic.
It does.
Or at least like very aggressive marketing.
It does sound like magic, but when you look at the architecture, it's actually just ruthless efficiency.
Yeah.
And honestly, given what Bernard Marr is forecasting, magic might be the baseline requirement for survival this year.
Okay, so let's start with the threat. Marr lists 7 trends, but there's one word that just dominates the list for 2026, and that is agentic.
Agentic.
We keep hearing agentic AI everywhere. No, I know what an agent is, I know what AI is, but put them together in a cybersecurity context. What are we actually facing?
This is the single biggest differentiator between the AI we saw in, say, 2023 and what we have now.
Okay.
Back then, we had generative AI. You gave it a prompt, and it wrote a phishing email for you. It was a tool.
Right, a specific instruction.
A specific instruction.
Yeah.
Agentic AI is not a tool. It's more like an employee. It has agency.
So you're giving it a goal, not a task.
Exactly. A hacker just says, breach this network and exfiltrate the financial data. The AI agent then goes off and executes. It might try a phishing attack. If that fails, it doesn't come back to the human for instructions.
It just tries something else.
It pivots.
Yeah.
It scans for unpatched vulnerabilities. It tries a brute force attack. It navigates the network. It makes decisions. And it adapts to roadblocks completely on its own.
That changes the speed of an attack completely.
It moves at machine speed.
Yeah.
So if you're relying on a security operations center, a room full of humans looking at screens, to detect that agent and stop it, you have already lost.
You're too late.
Way too late. The agent makes 1,000 decisions in the time it takes the human to sip their coffee.
That explains why the economy of cybercrime has just exploded. They've automated the labor.
They've scaled the expertise. You don't need to be a master hacker anymore. You just need to own an agentic AI that knows how to hack.
Marr's list goes on, and it doesn't get much cheerier. We have deepfakes and synthetic attacks, which I assume just pairs perfectly with the agentic AI.
Perfectly. The AI calls your help desk, sounding exactly like your CEO, to authorize a password reset. It's social engineering at a massive scale.
Then there's the evolving ransomware threat. Ransomware's been around forever. How has it evolved in 2026?
It's just more aggressive.
Yeah.
It's not just encrypting your data anymore. It's exfiltrating it for blackmail. It's threatening to disrupt critical infrastructure.
Wow.
And critically, it's attacking the backups too. The first thing a modern ransomware agent does is hunt for your recovery points and delete them.
We've also got quantum security on the list. We've been hearing about the quantum apocalypse for a decade. Are we there yet?
We are in the prepare or die phase. Quantum computers are getting so close to the point where they can crack traditional encryption.
The stuff that protects everything.
Everything. The math that secures your bank account, your company secrets.
Mm.
Mar puts this on the list because if you aren't upgrading your encryption standards now, you're basically leaving the door unlocked for a burglar who's already walking up the driveway.
And finally, we've got regulatory overhaul and cyber warfare. Governments are stepping in, state-sponsored attacks are blending with criminal groups. It's just a messy, hostile environment.
It is, and this brings us to what's really an inflection point. The capabilities of the attackers, thanks to agentic AI and these other trends, they've just outpaced the capabilities of traditional defense. You cannot firewall your way out of this.
This is where I want to pivot to the solution side, because when I look at that list, my instinct is to just unplug the computer and go live in the woods.
Right.
But we have to keep businesses running.
Exactly. And that's where Swimage comes in.
So we're looking at their technical documentation. They position themselves as modern PC management, but their core focus seems to be resilience. They make a very specific claim. They can take a PC that is crashed, corrupted, or infected with ransomware and rebuild it to a fully functional state in under 30 minutes.
Without data loss. That's the kicker.
And without a technician. So let's test this. I'm a remote worker. It's 2026. I click a link I shouldn't have. An agentic AI gets in, locks my screen, starts encrypting my drive. Usually I'd call IT, chip my laptop back, wait 3 days.
Right.
What happens with Swimage?
In this scenario, Swimage detects the anomaly, or maybe you trigger it yourself. It initiates a rebuild. Now, this is important. It does not try to find the virus and delete it.
Why not? Isn't that what antivirus does?
Antivirus tries to clean the house. But with modern agentic malware, the virus hides in the walls. It buries itself in the registry or in the boot sector. You can never be 100% sure you got it all.
I see.
Swimage doesn't clean the house. It bulldozes the house and builds a new one from the original blueprints.
Okay, but if you bulldoze my house, you destroy my furniture. If you wipe my drive to kill the virus, you wipe my presentation that's due tomorrow.
That is the common assumption, and that's where the architecture is so clever. Swimage uses a process that effectively separates the state, that's the OS, the apps, the settings, from the data, your files. It locks down the data. It captures the personality of the PC wipes, the OS layer, completely scorched earth, and then lays down a pristine, known good image of Windows.
So the malware, which lives in the OS or the applications, is just vaporized.
Gone. It can't survive a format.
And then it reinstalls my apps.
It reinstalls apps, drivers, patches, applies all the corporate policies. Then, and this is the magic trick, it relinks your data and your profile settings. So when the machine reboots 30 minutes later, your background is the same, your files are in the documents folder, your browser favorites are there, but the underlying engine is brand new.
That sounds great in an office with a gigabit connection. But looking at the documentation, there's a feature called offline deployment. I mean, most remote workers have terrible Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If my computer is nuked, how does it download this massive Windows image to rebuild itself?
This is one of those features that just makes you wonder why everyone doesn't do it. Swimage creates a local recovery partition on the drive itself. It's a reserved space where the deployment kit, the OS image, the drivers, the installer, it all lives there permanently.
So it's hiding inside the machine.
Think of it like a submarine. If the submarine takes on water, it doesn't need to surface to get tools. The repair crew is already on board.
That's a great analogy.
So even if you are on an airplane, or if the malware has completely severed your network connection, which they often do, the system can still rebuild itself from that local partition.
That addresses the offline part. The other term they use is zero touch. We hear zero touch a lot in marketing, but it usually means one touch or maybe low touch.
True. Usually zero touch means IT ships you a laptop, you turn it on, it sets itself up. But Swimage is talking about zero touch repair. Right. And this goes back to that agentic threat.
Yeah.
If an attack happens at 3 a.m., you can't wait for a human to approve the rebuild. You can set policies where if certain corruption markers are found, the system just rebuilds itself automatically.
So I could wake up and my computer has already died reincarnated and is just waiting for me to log in.
Potentially, yes.
Yes.
Or, more likely for a remote worker, you have a problem, you hit a panic button in the pre-boot menu and go get a coffee. By the time you come back, it's fixed. No ticket filed, no phone call.
That testimonial from the remote worker in the source material really jumped out at me. He said, I didn't even need to contact the help desk to complete it.
Right.
That's a fundamental shift in the relationship between users and IT.
It stops IT from being the Department of No or the Department of Waiting.
I want to dig into a specific technical feature that caught my eye, something called the encryption converter. This feels niche, but the source material highlights it pretty heavily. Why does this matter?
It matters because of that quantum security trend we mentioned earlier. Companies are scrambling to upgrade their encryption. Maybe they're moving from BitLocker to a third-party tool, or upgrading to quantum-resistant algorithms to stay ahead of the curve.
And usually, to change encryption, you have to decrypt the whole drive first.
Right. You decrypt the whole drive, which takes hours and leaves the data completely vulnerable, and then you encrypt it with the new tool. It's risky and it's slow.
Okay.
Swimage claims to migrate from one encryption type to another during the provisioning process without ever leaving the data fully exposed. It handles the handshake between the old lock and the new lock seamlessly.
So it's swapping the locks while the door is still bolted shut.
That's a good analogy.
Mm.
And for an enterprise with, say, 10,000 laptops, that saves thousands of hours of vulnerability.
Let's talk about the economics of this. We established that cybercrime is a multi-trillion-dollar economy. Defense is usually expensive.
Usually.
But Swimage lists a price point starting at only $4 per seat.
That's the software cost. But you have to look at the total cost of ownership.
Of course.
Think about a desk visit. In a traditional company, if a PC breaks, a technician walks to the desk. That's 30 minutes of their time, plus the user's downtime. That probably costs the company $100, $200 in lost productivity.
Or if they're remote, shipping the laptop overnight is $50 each way.
Exactly. If you can avoid one physical touch or one shipping event per year, the software pays for itself 10 times over. The source mentions a national nonprofit that deployed 60 computers in 2 hours with one person.
I saw that. In my old job, imaging 60 computers was a week-long project that involved pizza and a lot of late nights.
And that's the scalability.
Right.
Whether it's 60 or 60,000, if it's automated, the effort is the same. You push the button and the agents do the work.
It really seems like we're moving toward an era of zero trust, not just in security, but in the hardware itself. We don't trust the machine to stay healthy, so we build a system that can just kill it and resurrect it constantly.
That's the compliance angle. The source talks about SOC2, HIPAA, FIPS. In a manual world, configurations drift. A user turns off their firewall to install a game. A registry key gets corrupted.
The drift is real. I've seen it happen.
Over time, your secure fleet just becomes a mess. Swimage enforces compliance on every single rebuild.
Yeah.
And because rebuilding is so fast, you can do it more often.
Right.
You could theoretically rebuild high-security machines every week just to ensure they're perfectly clean and compliant. It forces the machine back to the known good state.
So it's not just for disasters, it's for hygiene.
Precisely. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't wait until you have a cavity to brush. You do it to prevent the decay. Swimage allows you to brush your entire fleet of PCs regularly.
There is a paradox here, though. We're talking about automating everything. The robots attack, the robots defend, the robots fix the PCs. What happens to the humans? We have a listener base of IT professionals. Does this tool make them obsolete?
I think it makes the old version of them obsolete. If your value to the company is that you're really good at manually installing Windows drivers, yes, you should be worried. That skill is going away.
But someone has to tell Swimage what to do.
That's the shift. We're moving from mechanics to architects. The IT pro of 2026 isn't the one turning the wrench. They're the one designing the repair protocols. They're deciding which encryption standard to use, what the policy should be for a remote worker in a coffee shop.
So the job becomes higher leverage. You manage the fleet, not the individual machine.
And honestly, with the threat landscape being this hostile, do you really want to be spending your day manually removing viruses?
No.
You need to be focused on strategy. You need to be hunting the threats that the AI misses.
It does feel like an arms race. The criminals have agentic AI. We need an agentic defense and agentic recovery.
It's the only way to survive. The golden rule of 2026 is simple. Your recovery speed must be faster than the attacker's infection speed.
That's a great way to put it.
If they can burn you down in 10 minutes, but you can rebuild in 5, you win. If you take 5 days, you're out of business.
That really synthesizes it for me. It's not about building a wall so high that no one can climb it. It's about being able to rebuild the castle instantly if they do get in.
Resilience over resistance.
Before we wrap up, I want to go back to the source one last time. They mentioned white glove services. We spent this whole time talking about how automation is king. Why do they still need a service component?
Because every environment has edge cases. Maybe you have legacy software from 1990 that needs special handling. Maybe you have a complex domain migration.
Right.
Automation handles the 90% of grunt work. but you still need that human expertise for the complex 10%.
Mm.
It's not about removing humans entirely. It's about applying human intelligence where it actually matters.
That's a comforting thought. We aren't entirely useless yet.
Not yet.
So here is the takeaway for our listeners. We're living in a world where cybercrime is a top-tier economy. The attacks are autonomous, they're fast, and they're ruthless. The tools we used in 2020, antivirus, manual reimaging, help desk tickets, they are simply too slow.
We have to embrace the speed.
And tools like Swimage seem to represent that necessary evolution. It's self-healing, it's offline capable, and it prioritizes data retention. It's like the spare tire that puts itself on the car while you're driving down the highway.
A self-driving spare tire.
I'll leave you with this thought. If we can automate the maintenance and repair of our digital infrastructure to this degree, what other parts of our jobs are just maintenance waiting to be automated? Are we ready for a world where the only work left is the work that requires a soul?
That is the big question for the rest of the decade.
Something to chew on. Thanks for diving deep with us today into the chaos of 2026. Stay safe, keep your recovery partition updated, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you then.